Hey, on today's daily sprint, we're talking about increasing our purpose, passion, and meaning. And we kind of know, we talk a lot about, hey, we're the average of the five the people that we hang around, and we know that the people that we hang around are going to determine our success in business. So in business, we typically get it, our brain gets it, like, hey, I gotta hang around businessers, growth-driven people, in Macro Millionaire, we have our business development group, the people who are successful, they're engaging in there, they're celebrating wins. But what happens when it's off the clock? Like as entrepreneurs, we have a clock. We're 24/7, baby. But you know what I mean? What happens when we're just kind of letting our hair down and just having a good time? What happens when we're partying? Who are we hanging with when we're partying? So there's four people that entrepreneurs, that anyone can hang around with when they party that will literally influence the trajectory of your business. It's not just who you hang around with on the clock. Who you partying with after the clock, okay? Number one is your moochers. Now, I don't mean moochers as in I do. You guys get what a moocher is, okay? You're always picking up the tab. They never bring anything to the poker day or the poker night. They always show up empty-handed. And sometimes they just may not know any better, okay? But moochers can also be people who really admire you. Moochers could be like, hey, they always want hey, give me the tip, man. I want to learn. And that's good. That's actually really, really gratifying, I guess, for lack of better terms. And you feel typically good giving a moocher, some time, some energy, some business tips. The thing with the moochers, though, is they can make your social events not the very funnest because they can start to drain you. Okay, they're just draining you. They're sucking with their straw of everything you have. So if you want to know if you're with a mooch or not, do they take energy? Do you feel less energy when they're around in social settings? Or do you feel like, oh man, that's a great conversation, more energy? Okay, so again, moochers can be some of your biggest fans, but you may want to wean your time off them if they start to suck your energy down, because here's the thing, social settings aren't something we as entrepreneurs get a ton of, depending on the season of growth that we're in. So the time that we do get, we don't want it to be draining. So we want to make sure that we have enough mental and physical energy for when we're back on the clock so that we're pouring it into others. Okay, cool. So again, moochers aren't all bad, just be aware. Number two, achievers. Okay, other achievers are awesome, but sometimes they can be almost the same way as a moocher. They're constantly like, I did this and I sold that and I've got this and man, I got this going on. And you're like, wow, maybe you're a fan of theirs, you're a crony of theirs. But the achievers talk more about themselves and celebrating their wins. You're constantly celebrating like this, a lot of moochers can sometimes be mistaken for achievers too, because these achievers in social settings, they just don't fill you up whatsoever. They're just almost talk about themselves, filling themselves up. And you're just like, awesome. And of course, you're sharing energy and you're high-fiving, but it's after the 50th high five, you're like, oh man, it's getting late. And you start to feel a little bit de-energized, okay? Number three would be your challengers. Okay, you probably don't hang out with a lot of challengers because they can be very negative. They're like, oh, well, I'm glad that you're doing good now, but have you considered? Or they've always got some conspiracy theory or something crazy or some reason why your business isn't going to be successful the next day. Okay, and of course, there's positives in some of these people too. I'm just kind of helping you be aware, having fun with this. But then the fourth people, I like to hang around these people. They're kind of a mix of achievers with a little bit of challenger. I call them believers. Believers are people very confident. They believe in themselves. They believe in what they have going on, but they also believe strongly in what you have going on. They're like, man, what he has going on. And it's growth is growth. Believers are just attracted to growth. They're growing themselves, you're growing, and they celebrate your wins. If you're around a believer, you're kind of you feel energized and you feel like a giver because you've given to the believer. You've poured into them and they've poured into you. Those are the people I want to party with, is the believers. I love hanging out with other believers, okay, who are believers in themselves, comfortable in their own skin, but then also believe in what I have going on, and it is awesome. So I think a believer is a healthy amount of literally at least 3 of them. They have a healthy amount of achiever in them, healthy amount of challenger, and yeah, they might have a healthy amount of mooch in them as well. Let me know in the comments who you maybe need to hang out with a little bit less, and maybe you need to hang out with a little bit more. Love to hear your comments and thoughts in the comments. Have a great growth-driven rest of your week.